Assalamu alaikum people, long time no see. We took off to another destination while the city was shining like a jewel. We had our dinner quickly and we reached the Mumbai International Airport and we were really bored. We were waiting for the next flight from there. We took off from there and finally we landed on our destination. That was Changi Airport, Singapore. Now, if you have time on Changi Airport, I would recommend you to explore it because it in itself is a huge world that you can explore. It's really beautiful. You have aquariums to walk on, and the roof feels like a totally different dimension underwater, and it's beautiful to stay there for a longer time. The more you stay, the more you explore. My children got hungry and they ordered something that they didn't like, but it was a delicacy at Singapore. But Alhamdulillah, I finished my food that I ordered. I had ordered beef. The next thing we did was we took an elevator and we went to the world famous digital waterfalls. It was mesmerizing. From there, we took a sky train to Terminal 1 and we reached the jewel of Changi Airport. How could I miss that? And then when I entered, the interiors were really beautiful. And then finally, I reached the world's tallest indoor waterfall. From there, our cab was waiting for us. We went through this beautiful city, the clean city, and finally we reached our hotel. We checked in. Yeah, we didn't have a view, but it was beautiful, clean, and really nice. The same evening, we had our first part of our trip, and on the way, we saw buildings from Malaysia. Yeah, it's really close by. And we had to visit the night safari. I think that was the most beautiful part of the trip. We saw deers, we saw flamingos, we saw the swamp deers, we saw lions, yes, with very close proximity. No fences, no boundaries. We saw grizzly bears, we saw the rhinos, the hippos, the white tigers, of course. This was the first time. The anteaters, and the tusk friends, and an owl that was staring right into my soul. Then we had this beautiful show where the animals showcase their talents and birds showcase their flights. Yep, we also saw the savannah cat that's almost extinct and some really dangerous animals that were the spotted hyenas. From there, we headed towards the fire show that was going out. I don't know how that thing was levitating, but it was. And they put up a really nice show. We enjoyed it. The next morning, we prayed our Fajr and we headed towards the breakfast area. Yep, there was a lot of varieties of food that we could have. Then we had our Singapore tour where we saw the Monk Temple, the universities, the President Palace, the Marina Square, and the Krish Fountain from where we flew, of course. We headed towards the Sky Wheel. Of course, it was beautiful. The entrance was really sophisticated, where a robot explained us about the history of Singapore and how the name was Singapura before it became Singapore. We also saw huge rooms that showcased how the market over there used to be. Yes, my son just sat down because he's scared of heights, but we just took a tour and it was really nice to know things about Singapore. We entered a gaming zone where we would play games with our feet, and immediately it turned into a flowery floor. Some mirror rooms were really mesmerizing, and I really had to capture this. I bought light. The next was the giant observation wheels, where this was a time capsule that was moving really slow, but it would take us to a height from where we could see the entire Singapore. And it was really cold inside as compared to the climate outside. Once we were down, we clicked a few pictures with a very famous lion fountain. Yeah. And then from there, we headed towards Mount Faber Peak. We had to take a small cable car from there all the way to the Indian island. Yeah, I mean, that's what the last stop was. We saw an entire water park under us while we were traveling through the cable car. Once we reached over there, we saw beautiful peacocks, peahens, just randomly coming and eating with us. Then we headed to the Madame Tussauds. Yeah, we met a few Bollywood stars whom my children don't know, of course, because they're Canadians. Yeah, my favorite Jackie Chan. I don't know who that was. I still don't know who that was. Yeah, that was Katy Perry. And I also sang a song for Michael Jackson. I gave an award to Shah Rukh Khan, and my children bashed in the makeup room of the Desi girl. From there, we headed towards another ride. That was a miniature of how the Gardens by the Bay looked. We took a tram from there and we headed towards the Siloso beach, where we had to catch up with a beautiful show that was all in water. Yep, all that was water. But by the time I could shoot all this, my phone was already dead. But anyhow, we reached the hotel, and the next morning we had our breakfast and went up on the roof for a swim. From there, we headed towards the malls for some shopping, and then we came to the Gardens by the Bay, where we went into Welcome to Jurassic Park. Ba 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 ba. Yeah, we saw the T-Rex, and we also saw the car that was left behind by the children in Jurassic Park Part 1. We also saw baby dinosaurs that were actually breathing. Yep. We met Charlie from Jurassic World, and of course my favorite character, Blue. He had a special appearance. From there we went to watch the show, the light and sound show, and we were just randomly lying down on the road over there. It was good. The same evening we were strolling the streets of Singapore because we wanted to do some shopping. Amidst that, I found out a small Europe. The next day was the most exciting day. Yep, it was the Universal tour. We found the Disney castles, the pharaohs of Egypt, of course the roller coasters, not to miss them. Then we met Megatron, who insulted us, and then we had the famous monster cookie. Yep, that was the last evening in Singapore. The next morning we catch up the sunrise at the airport, and then we took off and we landed in Bangalore. So that was Singapore for you guys, and for the Universal Studios vlog, please follow and subscribe. Bye.